Good morning, all. Myself, K. Venkatesh, Senior Resident of Department of Orthopedics. Today, we are going to discuss metabolic bone disorders. Before going to in details, let us discuss a brief composition of the basic cortical bone. Consists of osteocytes, osteoblasts, and osteoclasts in the bone cell category, and in bone matrix, it consists of organic components and inorganic components. Extracellular matrix of bone consists of 30% of organic and 65% of inorganic matter. Out of organic matter, type 1 collagen is 95%, constituting of proteoglycans, osteocalcin, and phospholipids, whereas 65% inorganic composition is made of calcium hydroxyapatite and little amount of magnesium, sodium, and potassium. The cells are predominantly osteoblasts, which are active cells participating in bone formation, and resting cells are osteocytes, and osteoclasts are the modified macrophages, which helps in bone resorption. This is the basic composition of the growing bone, consisting of epiphysis and physis. This is radiolucent structure physis, that are also called growth plate. Next is the below is the metaphysis and diaphysis. Division of the growth physis consists of the resting zone, which is the quiescent zone present towards the epiphysis side, and consists of less number of cells, which are germinal cells for bone formation, which proliferates into growth proliferative zone. Here the number of cells are more and tightly packed more than the resting stage, and these slowly go into hypertrophic stage with the increased amount of cell matrix and DNA and RNA structures, which are actively dividing cells. Then slowly the DNA matter and the matrix degenerates and the provisional calcification takes place, which grows towards the metaphysis side. And ossification zone, here the complete ossification starts and it merges into metaphysis. The basic component of bone is the calcium, which consists of inorganic component 65%, and out of it 99% is calcium, which is stored in bone in the form of hydroxyapatite, calcium hydroxyapatite. And the primary regulatory mechanisms are parathyroid hormone, vitamin D, and calcitonin. These three regulate the calcium metabolism. This is a brief picture of calcium absorption and metabolism, which consists of the primary stimulus is falling blood calcium level, which activates the parathyroid hormone and stimulates the uptake in kidney on release of the parathyroid hormone, and it also stimulates the calcium release in bone, and then it also increases the calcium uptake, which finally increases the calcium level inside the blood. This is the one positive feedback, and negative feedback is stimulus of rising calcium blood levels inside the blood will influence the thyroid gland, and it releases the calcitonin parafollicular cells, and calcitonin reduces the calcium uptake from renal and stimulates the calcium deposition of bone, and finally decreases the blood calcium. This is the positive and negative feedbacks. And coming to phosphate metabolism, the normal serum phosphate is maintained by two balance mechanisms. One is the renal and second one is the bone. First is the decreased serum calcium, which increases the parathyroid hormone, and this also increases the renal phosphate excretion. And second is the renal synthesis, that is it decreases the interstitial renal phosphate absorption and reabsorption. These two act in a opposite direction, and whereas these two act in the positive direction. Coming to parathyroid hormone, synthesized by parathyroid gland, which acts as a calcium regulator by increasing the calcium amount inside the blood and increase the resorption from the bone. It is synthesized as pre-pro parathyroid hormone, which is cleaved enzymatically into parathyroid hormone. Next one is the plasma calcium, primary physiological regulator of parathyroid synthesis and secretion. The normal reference range is 10 to 65 nanograms per liter. And next one is the vitamin D. The sources of vitamin D are diet and UV light exposure, and daily requirement is 400 to 800 international units. Secreted by parafollicular cells. Calcitonin secreted by parafollicular cells, and normal levels are 8.2 in 8.8 in men and women 5.8. Levels increase when calcium concentration is increased in the blood, as already discussed. Let us see the diseases based on this metabolisms. The first metabolic bone disorders are classified into four groups. First consists of the inadequate osteoid synthesis. Okay, this comes under osteopenia. Here, bone both mineral and non-organic structure both decreases. That is, density of the bone decreases here. Whereas in mineral disorders, only mineralization decreases. These are classified into osteomalacia and rickets. Whereas osteoid synthesis, decrease osteoid synthesis and increase osteolysis seen in osteoporosis, which is a senile degeneration condition also seen in postmenopausal women also. Next one is the increased bone mass. These are the rare disorders which includes the increased bone mass seen in Paget's and osteopetrosis. Coming to rickets, which is a basic disorder, which is the most common disorder mostly seen in the children age group, which are poor in nutrition. Childhood characterized by failure. Here the defect is mineralization, that is deposition of calcium is defect here. Common age group is 4 to 18 months, may occur also in older children with malabsorption. First cause is the abnormality in vitamin D metabolism. Second one is abnormality in phosphate metabolism. Third one is calcium deficiency, which is comes under nutritional type. This is the how vitamin D formation takes place. You already know in the biochemistry, previous biochemistry lessons and all. And coming to types of rickets, type 1 and type 2, which is type 1 is a vitamin deficiency, vitamin D deficiency. Here low intake plus inadequate sun exposure, which is commonly seen in people who are working inside the closed environments. And second one is the malabsorption, abnormal vitamin D metabolism. Here the intake is normal, but a metabolism defect either in liver, which is 25 hydroxylation, or renal, which is 1 hydroxylation, or drugs that causes the defect in the absorption or vitamin D metabolism. Whereas type 2 is absorption of phosphate. Here the vitamin D is normal, but the phosphate through kidney absorption is deficient, which is classified as hypophosphatemic vitamin D resistant rickets. And second one, which is subgroup, is Fanconi syndrome and renal tubular acidosis. Next one is the decreased intake or absorption of phosphate. This is again comes under nutritional type, but here the deficiency is phosphate intake. The clinical features basically comes under from head to toe. First we should see the skull. Here the skull is craniotapes, ping pong appearance, that is it is soft without ossification of the membranes. And second one is frontal bossing, that is frontal and parietal bones becomes evident after age of 6 months due to persistence of delayed closure of the membranes. They increase to grow continuously, which and they are soft. Next one is the broadening and ends of long bones. This is due to metaphyseal cupping and flaring, which is due to failure of the weight bearing capacity of the soft bones due to lack of ossification, that is calcium deposition, and delayed teeth eruption. And coming to chest features, these are the Pigeon chest. This is thoracic kyphosis may be present with deep narrowing of the chest, because diaphragm is unable to support the respiratory movements which are attached to kidneys. So this furrow is seen, which is attached to ribs. Sorry, so that this furrow is seen upon deep inspirations. And Harrison's sulcus. This is indrawing of the lower chest caused by pull of the diaphragmatic attachment to the soft ribs. This is also same reason. And rachitic rosary. This is enlarged growth plates at the costochondral junctions, which is seen as a widened metaphysis in long bones, and rachitic rosary, which is similar in concept. Next one is the muscular hypotonia. The child's abdomen becomes protuberant. This is pot belly appearance because of marked muscular hypotonia due to lack of calcium. And next one is the deformities. Due to weight bearing, lack of weight bearing nature to the soft bones, the bones tends to bend upon bearing. So these are classically seen in walking age groups. These are the depiction in the clinical diagrammatic form. Next one is this is the mnemonic from top to bottom, that is Rickety rosary, Pigeon chest, craniotypes, knock knees, and widened ends of bones. Next, how will you examine, biochemically examine the patient? Here, the calcium is always low. Because this is rickets, the calcium must be low. In any type of rickets, the calcium is always low. And phosphorus depends upon the type of rickets. Okay. In normal vitamin deficiency defects, the phosphorus is also low, and serum alkaline phosphate is elevated because bone tries to increase the calcium deposit. So it increases, stimulates the osteoblasts, so that serum alkaline phosphate is always elevated. And whereas vitamin D is always low in nutritional rickets. On X-rays, what we have to see? First, we have to see the delayed appearance of the epiphysis, because the epiphysis is delayedly appearing. This is the characteristic symptoms in the delay in the growth plate formation. And second one is the cupping of metaphysis. This cupping of metaphysis is due to continuous deposition of the non-calcified cells in this zone. Okay, this is due to cupping of the, and this soft metaphysis unable to bear the load from the bone. So epiphysis is seen here. Next one is the radiological features. The radiological features are splaying of the metaphysis, rarefaction, and bone deformities. Like knock knees, bow legs, and coxa vara are common deformities in older children. Coming to treatment, treatment consists of medical and orthopedic treatment. Medical treatment consists of oral vitamin D of 6 lakh units. Okay, oral dose of 6 lakh units, either in IM form or 60,000 international units per week, given 4 weeks to 6 weeks, and the maintenance dose is 400 international units per day. It depends upon the age group, and also uh, in childbearing age group for mothers, pregnant mothers, it is up to 1000, and for nourishment for mothers who are giving breastfeeding, it may rise up to 1500 international units. And coming to the treatment, orthopedic treatment consists of correction of deformities by conservative or operative methods. Conservative methods are mild deformities correct spontaneously as ricket heals, whereas specially designed splints are required for more corrections, more deformed knees. Operative method consists of moderate or severe deformities often require surgery, and this can be performed at any time after 6 months of starting the medical treatment. And these include osteotomy depending upon nature of deformities. These are the pre-treatment irregular widened epiphysis plates with cupping and flaying, and here the right side image is post-treatment, and the epiphysis and metaphysis assume a more normal appearance. And vitamin D resistant rickets are X-linked hypophosphatasia. This is the rare X-linked dominant. This is important. This is the X-linked dominant disorders. So mostly seen in the male groups of renal tubular reabsorption characterized by impaired reabsorption of phosphorus in proximal renal tubule due to defect in brush border. This hypophosphatemia or hyperphosphaturia, elevated serum alkaline phosphatase, normal plasma and urine calcium, and normal vitamin D. These are the biochemical levels inside the blood. And rickets clinically become evident at about 6 to 12 months of age. Variety of vitamin D resistant rickets associated with renal tubular disorders are hypercalcemia. These include hypercalcemia, renal phosphate loss, secondary phosphatemia, and aminoaciduria and renal tubular acidosis. This is due to renal dysfunction syndromes produced by rickets and osteomal, which are producing rickets and osteomalacia. Whereas in renal tubular acidosis, affected patients demonstrate growth retardation, short stature, change of rickets by osteomalacia, nephrolithiasis, and nephrocalcinosis. Whereas osteomalacia, this is the deficiency of vitamin D seen in the adult patients. Clinical features are bone pain, spontaneous fractures, malaise, and muscular weakness. And biochemical findings are same as seen in children rickets. And radiological features are almost same. Generalized, except the wide end metaphysis and epiphysis, those features are not seen because this is the adult skeleton where epiphysis and metaphysis are already closed and growth plate has ceased the growth. So we see the generalized bone density decreases here and looser zones are seen in certain sites like proximal femur, scapula and lower ribs, and coarse and indistinct trabecular pattern is seen and bone softening is seen. These are the adult form radiological features. This is the looser zone. In the cortex of the proximal femur medial side there is a cortical defect, small cortical line is there. This is looser zone. This is a codfish appearance in vertebra. Because of the softening of the bone, vertebra cannot bear the weight of the body, so they will go into a concave, biconcave shape. This is a codfish appearance, and these are again the looser joints. Treatment consists of, whereas in defective intake, it is a 6 lakh units followed by daily maintenance of 400 international units. Okay, in malabsorption, higher doses are required. Whereas in renal diseases, alpha calcidol, an activated form of vitamin D, should be given. Scurvy. This is the this is due to vitamin C deficiency. In children, this gives to rise to scurvy. The most common age group is before 6 months of age and predisposed by feeding with pasteurized boiled milk. Radiological features here are Wimbergen's sign, that is epiphysis is small, sharply marginated by sclerotic rim and white line of Frankel. This is zone of provisional calcification is dense. And Trummerfield's zone. This is the lucent zone in the metaphysis epiphysis region. And Palkan's spur. See, these are the depictions of the uh, Palkan's spur and the Trummerfield zones. This is white line of Frankel. This is a Wimberger sign. This is white line of Frankel and periosteal new bone formation. Osteoporosis. Here, this is the commonest metabolic bone disease. Diffuse reduction in bone density due to decrease in bone mass is seen here. The age group is usually around 5th decade and in women it around 6th decade in men. Loss of bone mass is approximately 3 to 10% per decade. And causes are many. Mostly the senile type of osteoporosis is most common. Next common is the postmenopausal. And post-immobilization is seen in bedridden patients with polio and cerebral palsy and other lower limb fractures. And protein deficiency, that is malnutrition, malabsorption and excessive protein loss. And endocrine like Cushing's disease, Cushing's syndrome and hyperthyroid states, and drug induced in long-term steroid therapy and phenobarbital therapy. Clinical features are asymptomatic disorders unless complications like fractures. The loss of bone mass leads to loss of strength, and dorsolumbar spine is most commonly affected, leading to osteoporotic fractures. And Colles fractures and fracture neck of femur commonly occurs in the elderly age group due to osteoporosis. This is the normal density of the bone. This is the osteoporotic figure on the right side, which show decreased density and decreased trabecular pattern. And postmenopausal osteoporosis is due to lack of estrogen. This is a disproportionate loss of trabecular bone. Fractures involving vertebral bodies, that is crush fractures and distal radius, Colles fractures. And senile osteoporosis is seen in men and women after 75 years of age approximately, and proportionate loss of both cortical and trabecular, whereas in postmenopausal trabecular bone is most affected. Fracture occurs in femoral neck, vertebra and distal radius and other sites. Coming to radiology, the loss of vertical height of vertebra is lost due to collapse. and the codfish appearance due to biconcave shape, and ground glass appearance due to loss of trabecular pattern, and Singh's index based on the femoral neck trabecular pattern. It is divided into 6 categories. With increasing number, the osteoporosis is high. And other investigations are biochemistry, which is all are normal except the serum calcium phosphate and alkaline phosphate, all are within normal because this is a degenerative condition. So everything is normal except the organic and inorganic matter. Overall bone density decreases with age. Densitometry shows ultrasound, which is ultrasound based and x-ray based. DEXA gives the exact value of the bone density. This is the gold standard for knowing the osteoporosis. And neutron activation analysis and bone biopsy are other methods. This is the ground glass appearance central figure. This is codfish appearance and kyphotic deformity in the thoracolumbar spine. Treatment consists of, main principle is the elevation of pain. If any fracture or osteoporotic fractures occur, then we have to elevate the pain. And second one is prevention of fractures. Treatment is medical and orthopedic. Medical consists of overall improvement of nutrition along with the increasing metabolism of the calcium, anabolic metabolism of the calcium. So calcium supplementation, androgens which has anabolic effect, and estrogen which has also anabolic phase of the metabolism in calcium, and vitamin D and fluoride supplementation also. These are the bisphosphonates which can be used in osteoporotic fractures, and calcitonin also acts in the same way. Then orthopedic treatment includes overall exercises to strengthen the muscles and surrounding bones. And next one is the bracing uh, in case of preventing the fractures. Then hyperparathyroidism. This is due to increased parathyroid hormone. There is increased absorption from the bone and increased absorption from the calcium from the kidney and intestine. This causes overall increase in the calcium levels inside the blood, and the main defect here is loss of calcium, that is strength in the bone. This leads to lucencies, which is seen as a bone pains, most common in initial feature, and tenderness on palpation of bones. This is a hyperdynamic state, and it leads to pathological fractures and brown tumor. This is an expansile bone lesion with the collection of osteoclasts, commonly seen in maxilla, mandibles, and small bones. Clinical features are due to hypercalcemic features are seen. These are anorexia, nausea, vomitings, and abdominal cramps. Occasionally, renal colics and hematuria is also seen due to increased calcium turnover. Here radiological features are important. The subperiosteal bone resorption is seen in phalanges. This is classical feature. And this is salt and pepper appearance in skull bones. Subchondral bone resorption, central collapse of vertebra, brown tumors, generalized osteopenia, and loss of lamina dura of teeth. This is also important. This is a depiction of the image which with loss of cortical thinning inside the subperiosteal resorption and cortical thinning of the phalanges. This is a brown tumor due to increased osteoclastic activity, and chondrocalcinosis. This is the calcification of the pubic symphysis. This is a calcium deposition on either side of the pubic symphysis cartilage. And this is the salt and pepper appearance of the skull bones. Investigation. As it is hyperdynamic and hypermetabolic state, serum calcium is always high and phosphate is low because parathormone acts in a reverse direction on phosphate. That is, it helps in excretion of the phosphate and improves the absorption of the calcium from kidney. So calcium is high, phosphate is low. As alkaline phosphatase is high because the turnover inside the bone, activity inside the bone is high. So alkaline phosphate is always elevated. Treatment consists of removal of basic cause, that is surgical excision of hormone secreting it in case of primary hyperparathyroidism. In case of secondary hyperparathyroidism, decrease the calcium intake. Orthopedic treatment here is adequate protection of the softened bones, and urological treatment is removal of calcium calculi and maintenance of renal function. Pegas disease. This is the excessive formation of the osteoid inside the bone, also known as osteitis deformans. Commonly seen in elderly group, progressive deformities of spine and limbs are seen. It is seen in mostly African and European countries, rare in India and Southern Asian countries. Etiology consists of unknown reason, increased bone resorption and disorganized bone formation is seen, and both stages of increased osteoblastic and osteoclastic activities are seen. That is, there is osteoblastic and osteoclastic stage, demineralization followed by excessive reparative bone formation in irregular pattern. Clinical features consist of three presentation. Monoosteotic form involves single bone, polyosteotic form involves multiple, and facial type affecting jaws. Severe pain in the bones and back during the osteoclastic stage, and enlarged skull and kyphosis of the spine, and thickening and warmth of over the bones due to hyperdynamic state. Complication includes pathological fractures, cranial nerve palsies with deafness due to closure of foramina, cranial nerve foramina inside the skull, and cord symptoms due to spinal cord stenosis and osteoarthritis due to deformities. Radiology here is honeycomb or sponge appearance during osteoclastic phase, and during osteoblastic phase, dense sclerotic irregular bone is seen. Investigations are serum calcium and phosphate are normal because both are balanced here, but serum alkaline phosphate is increased due to increased turnover and increased excretion of hydroxyproline in osteoclastic stage. Treatment consists of symptomatic analgesic treatment should be given to decrease pain. Calcitonin and bisphosphonates are given, and pathological fracture should be treated. There is a chance of turning it into bone sarcoma, which needs active management. And fluorosis. This is also excessive formation of irregular bone. Excessive deposition of calcium occurs in bone and soft tissues due to loss of increased amount of fluorine. It results from excessive ingestion of fluorides in drinking water. The fluoride content of normal water should be 1 or less than 1 ppm. Most common in some states of India like Andhra Pradesh, Nalgonda and Tamil Nadu also. Clinical features are staged into skeletal, dental, and other deformities. Skeletal fluorosis consists of pain in back and joints and stiffness of spine. Whereas in advanced stage, spastic paralysis and anemia is also seen. Whereas dental fluorosis consists of earliest sign, which is the early when the ppm reaches 3, the dental fluorosis is seen, and when it reaches above 10, then skeletal fluorosis is seen. The earliest to occur is the mottling of enamel, common in incisors and upper jaw. Larger teeth get eroded and fall off easily. Radiological features consist of spine with increased density and calcium along the posterior longitudinal ligament. Pelvis also show the same features, and forearm and legs. Intraosseous membrane calcification is a classical feature. The investigations are mainly elevated serum levels, elevated fluoride levels in urine and also drinking water. Biopsy shows high fluoride levels in the dry bone mass. This is a characteristic pattern with the uh, membrane calcification, intramembranous calcification. Treatment consists of maintenance of required amount of fluorine levels in the drinking water with defluorination techniques. Thank you.
Having some